So there's an event going on this weekend that a lot of people are excited about. It is UFC 294. Now, I know you in particular don't really keep up with MMA or fight sports too much, so I'll fill you in a little bit because I'd like to get your opinion on a couple things. We have Islam Makhachev versus Alexander Volkanovski. Now, Islam is the champion at lightweight, which is 155 pounds. Volkanovski and him have fought before. This was the big controversial fight as Islam beat him by majority decision or split decision through the judges. But everybody thought Volkanovski won. Volkanovski was coming up from 145. He's the 145-pound champion, pound-for-pound king. Now, he took this fight on 2 weeks' notice. He was 181 pounds when he accepted the fight, and he needs to make 155 pounds since it is a championship fight. If it's not, they get like a pound allowance. He's not getting that here.
Okay.
He's over in the UAE, so there's going to be jet lag kind of playing into this. The reports have been that he's losing about 2 kilos a day. 2 kilos a day seems pretty significant.
That's quite a bit, yeah.
Is 26 pounds in 2 weeks even possible, or can your body lose that?
Yeah, it could definitely do it. And you mentioned this guy competes in 145.
Yep.
So he already knows that getting to 155 for him is pretty easy. And I'd say if he's getting down to 145, the dip down to 155 is probably not even that hard. And I'd say so the experience that he has is why he took the fight so quick, because he knows he can drop that weight that fast because of getting down to 145. But there's a lot of water that you can drop real fast. And it kind of depends on, how good a shape he was in first, what he was eating. If he's eating a lot of calories, I mean, he can drop pretty quickly with exercise and some strict dieting.
One of the things to take into consideration is the travel before. Mm-hmm. So does that have to come into play, if anything?
Yeah, I mean, the jet lag is going to change, obviously, energy levels and things. Hopefully he's coming in early enough. But you also seem to get a little bit of a water retention with some flying. It seems, I don't know if it's the altitude or pressurization of the plane or whatever it is, but usually a bodybuilder would come in with enough time to let that water weight kind of equalize from the flight, because they don't want to fly in the day before the show, because then it's going to throw things off just slightly. And I'm not sure exactly why.
Can you go ahead and tell me, of that 26 pounds, like, is that a majority of that going to be water? Can you lose a lot of fat there? Can you slim up a lot within 2 weeks? Or
he can lose a lot of fat, but if you look at how much fat it takes to make up 5 pounds of fat, I mean, you have to look at a large body of fat. It's not going to be as much fat as it is going to be water. And there's going to be some muscle in there. So it's going to be a combination of fat, water, and muscle that comes off.
How does losing that much weight that quickly affect your strength or endurance?
Usually the strength and endurance go down pretty fast. So, I mean, especially if you're doing it in a way where you have to sacrifice muscle, you're going to start sacrificing endurance. I mean, and some of the energy problems that you'll have potentially from dieting so quickly would be the energy balance in your body's endurance going down quite a bit.
Can you go ahead and take me through, he had surgery in July. So would any of those elements kind of come into play?
I don't know if they'd come into play for making weight or anything. I'm sure it does in his performance.
Somebody who might be bloated or wanting to lose weight quickly, or might find themselves in some predicaments that are a weight sports person themselves, where they have to make weight for their sport.
Yeah.
What kind of products would you say we have to kind of help with that?
Well, it depends on the type of weight loss that you're talking about first. Because if you're talking about the quick needing to make a vacation, needing to make weight for a sport, something like that, I mean, you get a lot more aggressive with both the products that you use and also with your diet and your exercise and things like that. Generally speaking, that's, not the best way to go for longevity purposes. But for somebody trying to make weight or somebody trying to, slim up for 4 weeks or 5 weeks before a vacation, you can definitely push a lot harder by dropping your calories down quite a bit, increasing your cardio, increasing your workouts, intensity and volume. As for products, I mean, we've got 3 different fat burners, really. Thermogenic flux being the main one. That helps you move more, eat less, increases your energy, increases your focus, decreases your appetite, and speeds up your metabolism. That's thermogenic flux. And then the advanced formula for thermogenic flux is Thermoflux AF. And it's basically taking that product and increasing the energy levels and increasing the thermogenics, which tends to be a little bit more jittery for somebody. So somebody wanting to lose weight more quickly, as long as they could handle the dose of Thermoflex AF, would go for that product because it's a more intense product and a faster fat burner. Will definitely suppress their appetite harder. Will definitely help them burn more calories and stay more active throughout the day. Then you have something like Equilibrium, one of our other products, and Equilibrium helps to balance the hormones that you have out of balance, like some of your sex hormones, your thyroid hormones, cortisol, things like that, using KSM-66 ashwagandha, which is an Ayurvedic herb. And that one basically is an adaptogen, helps your body adapt to stress. And so all the clinical studies they have on, reducing stress, reducing cortisol, bringing male fertility hormones back into balance, bringing female fertility hormones back into balance, and even, thyroid hormones too. That one's a very powerful one because when your body's out of balance with hormones, weight loss gets a lot more difficult. So you can't lose weight nearly as easily. And so putting those hormones back into a balance makes the whole process a lot faster and a lot smoother. And then lastly, we have one called Thermite. It's a completely non-stimulant, which Equilibrium is non-stimulant as well. But Thermite is a complete non-stim fat burner. So there's no caffeine, there's no energy, there's nothing like that you would notice from the product. All the ingredients in there are just made to help you burn more calories faster.
So I'm going to go back a little bit to the weight cut, but another perspective of it.
Mm-hmm.
They have about 24 to 30 hours to be able to put this weight back on.
Yeah.
What's going on during that time? Like, what are they eating? Can you kind of take me through the approach at that and the goals?
I mean, your first priority is to rehydrate. And so rehydrating comes in, obviously, water, but also comes in as electrolytes. And so there's going to be a balance of those two things, probably first, something like a Pedialyte or something like that. But I'm sure there are better options than Pedialyte necessarily. But Pedialyte, everybody understands, water plus electrolytes. That's number one priority because that's what he sacrificed the most. And that's going to affect his performance the most. Then he's going to be focused on refilling those glycogen stores, all the carbs that he's lost, all the blood sugar that hasn't been stored but has been used instead, that kind of thing. And so then it's going to be the carbohydrates and how many carbs can he get in, how fast can he get the carbs in, but also not messing with his digestion. Because if you start to mess with digestion, just like anybody with a stomach problem knows, that'll change your performance. That'll change how you feel, how you look, body weight, all of that kind of stuff as well. So obviously he has to be careful getting the food back in and rehydrating as fast as possible.
What kind of foods are you eating there? Are you eating like steak? Are you eating bread? What are you eating?
Steak's real slow digesting, so probably not. You're probably going for very easy to digest foods for the most part. Depends on what the guy's used to. Whatever he ate leading into it is what he should eat coming out of it, to be fair. But there are things like carb sources that are really good, high quality carbs, cyclical dextrin kind of carbs clustered dextrin carbs that help with basically a faster absorption, but with less stomach problems than some of the rest. There's products out there that are, dextrose, a sugar base, and those will digest and absorb very quickly. It can kind of leave you some stomach issues, but the higher quality carbs are tend to be a little bit easier on your stomach, but digest and help you refill those glycogen stores much faster.
Awesome. Well, I think that covers the majority of my questions for today. I appreciate it.
All right.